ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I am your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is adult star content creator. You can check her out coming up at Exotica very, very soon. The one, the only goddess, Emambisious, and a little animal friend as well on this fine program. How are you?
I'm good. This is Sylvester. He's being a camera hog, so please excuse him. He's been doing this all day.
Don't even worry
Um,
about it. I have a cat myself, so I've been there. I get it.
I am a content creator, porn star, photographer, videographer, wrestling lover, and all-out nerd and
Oh,
cat lover.
we're going to get into all that today's program. I got to say, that's one of the things I do have a lot of respect for you for before we get into everything. Very multifaceted. You dip your toe into everything from photography, the adult side of things, porn. I love that. And especially that really gets me going just because I think what's great about life in itself, I think you could concur, everything that we do is an art form, but also at the same time, too, you never stop learning and adapting and growing. So that just adds a lot more to your repertoire.
Yes, yes. I always say that, like the old saying, knowledge is power, but also I am not one singular thing. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. I am not one singular thing. I'm a multitude of things. Nobody is one box, you know? And if they're trying to fit themselves in, they'll eventually learn to be themselves, you know?
Oh, I concur with you on that. I think what's great about people, and they always say don't dip your toe into or don't put your eggs in so many baskets. But I'm like, if you don't put your eggs in so many baskets, there's nothing to fall back onto. You know what I'm saying? Because some things may not work, some things will work, but you have to find your niche. You have to find yourself. And I think what's great about the adult entertainment industry and content creation, you have found yourself with what you're doing. And I mean, hustler, for God's sake. I saw that. I read it. That's a huge honor, and that's a big congratulations on your part.
Thank you so much. It's been like 3 years in the making. I just had this excuse my stuttering by the way.
No, you're fine.
Um but I've had this in my head ever since the beginning of my career when I was 18 years old. For reference, I am currently 26 at the time of this recording. And um yeah, no, the idea of just doing one singular thing and not truly being myself, what is a turnoff for me. So, Hustler was one of my many goals. I wanted front cover, but just being in it is a huge honor. And I've made some friends along the way too in the industry, and I'm very, very grateful.
I concur with you on that. I look at it like this. You see a lot of models, like some of them might not be on the cover of like a Playboy, but they'll be featured. I mean, I will take it to wrestling here. Like you see a lot of wrestlers. It used to be, and I'll date myself here. There was a bodybuilding magazine back in the day called Flex. Like Triple H was on the cover of one of them, but a lot of wrestlers were featured. It was a big deal to be featured in such a bodybuilding magazine like Flex because it was such a popular issue. So if you could be featured in anything that a lot of people who could go into like a 7-Eleven or any convenience store, what have you, that people can just gravitate to and whew, your eyes are right on it, that's a huge goal. And that means you're golden right there, my friend.
Yes, I've also been in many smaller magazines, and I've front covered with those, and even just being on a front cover of really anything is also an honor. Don't forget the smaller magazines, but also um one thing I've noticed with newer models that I want to put at the forefront is that um there are a lot of scammers out there. So don't ever pay for your front covers. Let it come to you naturally, manifest it, love it, and go with the flow.
That is the best way to take it by the ears and take it by the horn, so to speak. And I mean, for you, I mean, there's so much stuff now than it was back in the day. I mean, we've seen the adult entertainment industry and content creation evolve and revolve. I mean, with the addition of OnlyFans, of course, and many vids and fanslies and your loyal fans, there's a lot of different communities for everybody to kind of gravitate to and kind of unite with, so to speak, because there's a lot of different playing grounds for everybody.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, there is a lot. I've narrowed my websites down to 3 websites. My OnlyFans is my main page that I stuck with my entire career, and I fully intend to continue that. But over the years, I've also adapted a Fansly, and this year I adapted a Real Me, for those who are wondering.
Nice. And I mean, it's more exposure too. And I've always said this, what I love about it too, as well. And especially people like myself or people who listen to this, it's something new, it's something fresh that people could also gravitate towards. And I've always said this, and what I love about adult entertainment industry and content creation, I think you could confirm, it's an art form, much like photography, which we'll get into in a second here, but you have to see it through the right lens, and that being the eye, right? The right lens, so to speak. And you can
Yeah.
see it through the right lens and see the art form that it is. There's storytelling, there's things that go along the way that build up to a certain scene. There's a lot of different layers that people don't even realize, you know?
Yes, and like that's one thing that I like about wrestling too. I know that's not really a part of my career, but I did talk about it on social media because after what happened a week or two in Raw, what Roman Reigns did to Punk and
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah, I was just like, I've been edged. But yes, all of what I do is an art form, and pretty much, other than geeking out over again wrestling and cosplaying, cosplay was one of my main reasons that people went to my channels because I did cosplays that nobody else would really think of. And I used to hand make mine. I currently don't. My mother-in-law has my sewing machine, that is why. But yeah, I'm just all around artist. And I'm sorry if I'm bouncing back and forth.
No,
ADHD is wild today.
don't even worry about it. I have ADD minus the H, so I'm right there with you. I bounce off the walls too, so don't even worry about it. I love where your brain is and where your mind goes. For those who haven't seen, a couple weeks ago, CM Punk and Seth Rollins had an incredible steel cage match on Monday Night Raw. Then Roman snatched that boy, Seth Rollins, right out the cage, and then he took out Seth, he took out Punk. Now we got ourselves a triple threat at WrestleMania. What the doggone world is the favor for CM Punk and Paul Heyman? Everybody's on the edge of their seat. We want to see what happens when we get to that triple threat at WrestleMania.
Oh
I'm
my
hooked.
God.
I'm hooked
When my
too.
when my husband came home, it's around the time when like Monday Night Raw ends,
Yeah.
and I'm just screaming at the TV. I'm like, this is a fucking triple threat. And he doesn't watch wrestling, so he's
Okay.
like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know.
But that's the beauty of it. I mean, you're hooked. I mean, we have John Cena, who hasn't been a heel in 22 years now against Cody Rhodes, and he's turning his back on the fans. He's breaking up with everybody. You have Jey Uso going against Gunther. So there's a lot of great stuff on the Mania card coming up in a few weeks.
You know, I will say for the record with
Okay.
Cena, I don't exactly buy it fully. Like
You're not
part
the
of
one.
it when he first did the kind of how do I word this? When
The promo.
he initially was attacked Cody Rhodes,
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh yeah, heel, yes." And also no, because Cody Rhodes is actually really cute in my opinion. My poor baby's face. No. But also like, and the Rolex, that poor Rolex. Why would you punish the Rolex? That is not nice. Bad Cena. Spank. But the part where he like broke up with us per se,
Mhm.
I was just like, May, you could go a little deeper than that. You can show a little more expression. Just a smidgen.
No, I
That's my
feel you.
opinion though.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, he didn't really explain why he went with The Rock. It was just the whole thing of just, I'm breaking up with you. Y'all have been hurtful to me. Your time is finally up and my time's finally now. Like, it was good for what he did. I understood it. But also at the same time, if you look at the subtlety, intricacy, and nuance, Cody shouldn't have just came out and called him a whiny bitch. It's like, this man hit you with the Rolex. He whipped you. They whipped you with the belt. He bloodied you. He did everything to you, but you're just going to go out there and just call him a whiny bitch and mic drop, throw the mic at him. I understand the purpose of what we were doing, but we could have had a little bit more emphasis to it.
Yeah, like he he could have you know when he like burns people per se, like
Right.
roasts them.
Mhm.
He could have done that. He could have gone back to his roots for a second and been like, "Hey, Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna beat you to a pulp and take that title and shove it up your ass."
Right.
but he didn't. And I'm like, why not? I need to know.
No, I'm right there with you. He could have done the whole thing at just about, you know what? I was the guy, and they told me to pass the torch to you. Well, I'm not passing the damn torch. This is my torch till the end. Something of that caliber. I mean, again, I'm looking forward to the match, and Cody is the
Yeah,
ultimate baby face right now. The American Nightmare. You think he's cute with his face, which a lot of women are in agreement with you about that boy Cody Rhodes. But yeah, that it works. It absolutely works.
yes, I work out a lot.
Mhm.
That's another one of my hobbies. It's slash stress reliever. Gosh, I cannot talk today. Again, I'm sorry. Um, but like it came across or Cody's song popped up, and as I'm on my stepper, I'm just like adrenaline, pop, 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 and I can't help but just like jam out to that while I'm on the stepper. People think I'm insane.
I would do the same because first and foremost, Downstate, who sings his theme song, that's a great song. It's a great song.
Yes,
It is.
Randy's too. Randy Orman.
Yes, Rev Theory. I hear voices in my head. Are you looking forward to him and Kevin Owens and him finally punting Kevin Owens in the head? You looking forward to that?
Oh yes, I have beef with Owens. Owens, nah.
No.
I want to see him get beat to a pulp.
The
I don't like him. And the fact that he keeps doing the fucking what is it called? The pile driver?
pile driver, yeah.
Yeah, that is an unfair move, in my opinion. And it's illegal for a reason, and you're still doing it. No, I know you're a heel, but still, no, shame on you. Fuck you. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's been the best part of the story, though. He does the pile driver, takes Randy out. Don't That's a legal move, like much like Emambisious just said there. I mean, he's doing his old package pile driver now. He dropped Sami Zayn on his head, the whole nine, the whole deal. So Kevin is going into that with Randy, and that's the best payoff is Randy when he finally friggin' punts him right in the dome piece when we get to WrestleMania. Are you also excited for Tiffany and Charlotte, or how are you feeling about that one for the women?
Um, Charlotte, I'm not a fan of it. I've never truly been a fan of Charlotte. She looked better. Excuse me, she looked better um when in her younger years before the plastic surgery. You can tell,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
never going to judge a woman. I'm never going to judge them. It's their body, they can do what they want, but she could have done something a little better. And also the for those who are also Taylor Swift fans, if you got one of her outfit references to 1989, I'm not a full T Swifty, but I do my research. I like to be in the know of
oh
things.
yeah.
And I recognized one of her outfits and I'm like, "Girl, you are not T Swift. You're not. Stop it. Get some help." And Tiffany is a really good wrestler. I just feel like she needs a little bit more depth, you know?
I mean, I actually will concur with you on this, and yes, you could definitely tell with Charlotte she has work done, and not much like you. Do what you're going to do. I understand that completely. But I'm watching this promo bout on a Friday, right? With what we're
Yeah.
heading towards WrestleMania, the side to side, and I'm like, Tiffany is a great wrestler, but god dang it, man, she got friggin' mollywopped verbally by Charlotte in this. Like, she did not look good in this at all. You could tell she's still green on the mic. But I'm like, all right, I want to see where this goes. And I mean, for the other side of things, you got Io, you got Rhea, you got Bianca. There's going to be a triple threat there. I'm hyped. I get mommy getting that title back. We'll see from Io. Bianca's in the mix. Everything that happened with Jade and Naomi, there's a lot of things here.
So with EO, I don't like how they're literally just like pie facing her. I'm
Yeah,
like, you could have just smacked her because she smacked both of you. That would have made sense. Like
right.
get even kind of thing. Um, I don't like how Rhea just stacked them one time and they didn't get up. I'm like, I want a little bit more beef, you know? Just a smidgen, not something too crazy. Just like have like Jade or somebody come up and like give Rhea a good smack and then she can win.
Right.
Just saying.
No,
But also,
yeah, good.
the signing of the contract, I couldn't help but just die laughing. That was amazing.
I agree wholeheartedly. Like everything that they did with the contract signing and just Rhea just coming out there, boom. I think everything that goes into this, it has Rhea being desperate now because that one move caught her up with Io winning the title from her. And then you got Bianca, who again we mentioned the Naomi Jade stuff, but Bianca, who's never faced Rhea in that one-on-one, and that's been like a dream match, but also her and Io's beaten Rhea and Rhea's never beaten Io. So you add all those elements to it, it's combustible elements, and it makes for a great thing. So I got to say, thus far, with the road where we're going to WrestleMania, and I'm sure there's going to be more announced within the upcoming weeks, there's a lot to look forward to. We got Ray Phoenix coming in from AEW. We got Penta going against Braun Breaker for that Intercontinental Championship. Sky's the limit, man.
Jay Uso.
Hey, Gunther, yeah.
Unpopular, possibly unpopular opinion. When I first heard his intro, I thought it was just a meme, but then it grew on me, and now it's like an addict. Yes, just
You,
especially the encore. I was just like, yes, I love it, and I love how loud the crowds are now with the Netflix switch.
yeah.
It's so loud, and I'm like, I love this. I feel like I'm actually in the arena, and it's good. I wish they would do that. Well, I watch SmackDown on the reruns, or TikTok spoils it for me because Peacock does this weird thing where it just continuously loads and I can't watch it live for some reason. I don't know if anybody else gets that, but I basically have to wait for spoilers online for SmackDown.
I feel you.
So,
I mean, I look at it like this to go into your point. The Yeet is way over. Everybody loves it. Everybody's hyped. It's energized. And I mean, I look at it like this. Jay has worked a lot for 15 years to finally get to this spot. He is so over right now that even if he loses to Gunther and they do the chase, and when he finally wins it, like, I don't know, like at SummerSlam or something, it's still going to be worth it because people are behind him. And Gunther's just a brick shit house in his own right. The man, that chop is absolutely, like I said, you have a lot of great combustible elements, and I've been just here for the ride with the story. I think that's the best part to put it, is because the previous regime and why it was just so whatever it was, and now Triple H taking the reins, a lot of people are hooked now because he focuses more on the storytelling.
yeah, and the unpopular opinion too was Jay's pretty hot. Just saying. He like the muscles like mm, he is a mwah, chef's kiss with Roman Reigns as well. Chef's kiss.
My goodness. Well, first and foremost, I will say this. That is, my mom also watches wrestling as well. So we got a family affair. But my mom also says the same thing about Roman. Besides the fact he's a great wrestler, the dude's a handsome man. Let's put it to the forefront. He is a very handsome man. We can definitely put it out there. But yeah, that whole thing with him and Paul Heyman, and we mentioned Punk and Seth Rollins, he's another one. Roman, this has been the best run of his career as the tribal chief, throwing up the ones, the whole nine. It's great.
Oh, Paul Heyman. I have a love-hate relationship with him. He is so unpredictable. I love it and I hate it at the same time because sometimes, like I said before, I feel like I'm edged. And I'm like, bro, I did not want to be mentally edged today. What are you? But
So
also, I'm like, this prepares me for next week because I'm sitting here with my husband who does not watch WWE but tolerates me explaining everything to him. He's just like, yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
now I
But
gotta
like,
Yeah, I got to ask you
oh,
the Paul
sorry.
Heyman. Oh, you're fine. You're totally fine. I was going to say the Paul Heyman side of things. I do have to ask because that's actually a great follow up, like you mentioned. What do you think? Is he going to stay with Roman, or is he going to turn? Is he going to go back with Punk? What are you thinking? What's the favor? What are you thinking?
I thought the favor was a chance at WrestleMania,
In the main
but
event?
the main event. But I actually think that it's going to be like somewhere in the middle of all three of them fighting. Paul Heyman comes and is just like does some sort of thing where he's like, I'm with Punk, but I'm not gonna say it until the worst time to say it or to insinuate it. And then like Punk's gonna be like evil Punk. Well, he's already kind of on the
He's in
I
the
don't
middle.
want to say he's a heel,
He's like a
but he
tweener.
kind
He's
of,
like a mixture. He's a tweener.
yeah, he's a bit of both, and I respect him for it because I'm kind of the same way personality wise. I'm like in the gray area. Um, but I think he's gonna choose Punk, or he's gonna make a way to be both of their wise men.
Okay. I mean, you have me intrigued with that as well. I think what this is, I think this is going to finally, and I think if there's any match to close out night one or night two, whichever one they're going to do, I'm going to go night one. If there's any match
Yeah,
to close it out and CM Punk finally gets that main event spot, that match should definitely close the show. Absolutely 1000% with what we're going with the story. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm for it, and I have to ask you as well because we mentioned a lot of Raw and SmackDown, WrestleMania. You did mention before we came on here NXT. What are your thoughts on NXT thus far? You're kind of dipping your toe into the NXT realm.
I am still okay. Viewers, don't judge me, please, because there was a period where I wasn't watching it because like my career took off and I just kind of zipped or blipped for a few years on wrestling, and I recently came back and I was like, what is this NXT stuff? And I was like, but I'm still learning about it,
Okay.
and I don't even remember a lot of their names. I know there was this one gal who was like who won both the NXT champ and
The
what
women's
other
North
one?
American, Stephanie Vaquer. Yep.
Yeah, she
Her.
won both of those, and I was like, "You go, girl! Fabulous, love it." Everybody else, I'm kind of just learning. I'm a slow learner. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. I will say this. If you need any help, people like myself and a lot of people in the community, we got you. We got you on the NXT front. We got you.
Yes.
Alrighty, but yeah, definitely check out NXT and everything in WWE. It's a very exciting time going to the biggest show of the year. And speaking of the show, you stealing the show as well, ma'am, in your own right. We mentioned Hustler. We mentioned a lot of things you got going on. How excited for you for Exotica coming up, because that's one of the main shows of the conventions. How excited are you?
I'm ecstatic. Okay, so like I went from like I work in Chicago mainly, um, but I take breaks, like I'll work for a week or two straight and then I'll take 2 weeks off. Or like I'll work 3 days one week and two the other. It really just depends on the season. But Exotica Chicago in particular has a special place in my heart. Because it brought me to where I am today, both in my personal life and in my professional life. This year in particular, it went from Thursday to Sunday to the Saturday before to that Monday after. So like almost like 2 weeks, kind of like a week and a half. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am for it. Like I can almost cry. I never thought that I would be able to get where I am. And there were so many people who did not believe me. And there were so many people who did at the same time. And I like to address both because I never want anybody in this industry or any industry that you're passionate about really to take that hate. Um, I like to think of myself as a sponge. I absorb the hate and then I put out positive. And that is my motto pretty much. And that brought me to Hustler and to Sex Work PR, Giovanni, Jiggy, you, um, basically everybody that I know. And it's gonna sound generic, but thank you, truly.
Well, first and foremost, you're very welcome, and I am happy to give you the platform. And shout out to Geo and Jiggy as well for what they do. And man, there's so many people in this doggone community, and what I love about Exotica too is I think the fans, and there's so many people that have different preferences and are very unique within what they like, and I think that's great for people to be open minded and showcase that normalization of it, which also goes into even if you look at films like The two S's I like to mention, like you mentioned, like absorbing everything like a sponge. For me, it's all about being safe and spectacular, performing your craft in safe fashion, but doing it in spectacular fashion. Testing is so important. There's so many things that make this industry and this community great. So you have a lot of different contributing factors.
Yes, exactly. Um, I originally started in this industry, money, of course. We gotta work, we gotta make a living, but also because I wanted to do something different. Like I saw all these like adult stars during one of the darkest moments of my life still to this day. And I was just like, I wonder how much I can stir up and what kind of difference I can make. If I succeed, this could be huge. But if I fail, hey, at least I tried. And I never stopped trying.
First and foremost, that hits me right in the feels because I love the grind and I love the passion of what you do. And I look at it like this. Let's first and foremost put this into the forefront. You're a very beautiful woman. You're a very beautiful lady. You're very
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're very welcome. I mean, I've seen a lot of your photos. The imagery says it all. You can rock the lingerie. You could do a lot of great feels to it. The cosplay, my goodness gracious, Freddy Krueger. You could be a little Spider-Man action. Like you have a lot of great shoots there. And I think that's very appealing.
Thank you. Um, I have more cosplays, but they are much older and I don't know if anybody noticed, but my boobs just gradually got bigger. I did not get a boob job. That is some rumor somebody made up. Um, Not any hate to anybody who does have a boob job. Again, do you boo boo? But I currently, in the date of this recording, I do not have any plastic surgery on me or anything like that. Um, but my I struggled with weight loss for or weight gain, weight loss for a little bit, and my boobs just kind of stayed big, which I'm like, okay, cool. Um, but none of my older cosplays really fit anymore. So, I'm currently working on updating those. So that's why there's not a lot of that. And also, with TikTok, there's another thing with that, but I'll address that later on if you want.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. That's why this platform is here to give you the platform to tell your story. First and foremost, I love how you put that out there. All natural, which first of all, much love to you because that's the best way to be with the voluptuosity factor, breasts all natural. And I can speak from a man who I gotta say, every relationship that I've had from friendships with a lady, again, love and respect women. There's so many beautiful women on this planet, God's greatest creation. And I look at it like this: a lot of the women I've been with, and I can actually say this in my 33 years on this great planet that we call Earth, a lot of them were very natural as well from the breast side of things and the voluptuosity factor. So I respect that. This shows the realness and authenticity. I got to give you love for that.
Hmm, thank you.
No,
Also,
you're
stay hydrated. Just a side note, even though I'm drinking pop, but besides the point, um, I am, as a bisexual woman, I also love natural boobs, fake boobs to a degree, as long as you're being safe. Be safe
right.
about it. Don't get a shitty surgeon or anything. Um, I love booty, everything about a woman, pretty much, as long as you have a good soul. Fuck yes. Um, oh, continue. I didn't know that you
Oh
were
no, no,
gonna.
no. I'll be honest with you. So, while I am not dehydrated, I have a little bit of a cough drop on the side, so I was just chewing on. My apologies. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, no problem. So, oh yes, women. I was like, boobs. Okay. Um, so with my content, my adult content, I did a very drastic change last year, and everybody's been talking about it, both positively and negatively. Where like before I met, or I knew JD for a few years before we have made it official, but I was pretty much safely um being a porn star and fucking other men and women, and always get tested, by the way, whether you're a creator or not, always get tested. Be safe, please. Um, but that was my life for the longest time. And there was just a point where Emotionally, I just I'm an empath at heart, and I addressed this in a previous uh conversation that I had, but it's not out yet. And I also want to address it here too. Um it's exhaust or not exhausting, but just like as a somebody who has a vagina, um you pretty much and who is an empath, you pretty much feel what that partner is feeling, whether it's for porn or for your personal life. And there were some days where I came home, I would do like 2 or 3 shoots a day for like 6 days out of the week. And I would come home and be like, fuck yeah, that was great. Love it. But then there were other days where I just sit in the bath and I'm like, I am mentally drained. That was a lot. And there was a point where JD came and picked me up and we went on a date and came back and I was smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes regularly. I was just really stressed out. And he was like, "Well, why don't I just be um the dick that you use, basically?" And I was like, I don't know if people are going to go for that, but also I need to think about me and how I'm feeling. And after at the time after 6 years of pretty much doing that, I thought it was time for a change, and it would stir up a conversation, in which it did, and it still does. It's been a year since I've announced that, and um to anybody who wants to go down that path, don't take bullshit from other people. Do what you feel is right, safely. And I've never been happier now. And I say in my dumb space, I am sorry for people who have penises. You are not worthy. So, yeah, that's that. And I'm sorry I've been rambling.
First of all, don't even worry about it. I have a good ramble myself. You're totally fine. I'm invested and I'm interested. So thank you for putting that into fruition. I look at it like this. I mean, first and foremost, the not worthy part of it. I mean, I can understand that. And I mean, first and foremost, I have seen what you and JD do as far as the scenes go. I did my research as well and watch them. Very hot, very sensual. It shows the raw and passion of two people who genuinely love each other and they really translate that and transition into film. I admire that. I think a lot of people not only could gravitate towards and find it to be very sensual and arousing, but also at the same time too, it helps, and you have that great connection, so it really does translate. So I got to give you both kudos.
Thank you so much. I do want to put it out there that I do still do scenes, and also in my personal life still love the a pussy, you know. Love women or people who have that under their belt. And as long as you're clean and professional on set, I'll work with you. So, and I will still work with other men, but I just won't be touching or people who have a penis. Um, I just won't be touching your penis. I'll peg you, spank you, dirty talk it, yeah, things of that nature. Um, but I just won't be touching the peen. So,
Well, that's the dom in you, which again, much respect. I appreciate that. And here's the thing too: we talk about people's uniqueness and preferences. Some people like a good pegging or this and that. So I mean, you're catering to a lot of people, so there's an audience for everybody. I dig that.
yeah. And I love being a dom. I started off being a sub
Mhm.
because genuinely I didn't know how to really act. I grew up in a really sheltered home. So I just when I turned 18 and I was studying to be a CNA and I had a health accident and the place that I was working for pretty much said, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. You're getting back to work." And I'm like, "No, I'm not.
No, wow.
No, I am severely injured." And I called my dad and I was like, "I need to go to the ER now." And I won't get graphic, but it was pretty graphic. And I had emergency surgery. I was fine after that, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life after that. And there was a porn star. She's currently known as Rebecca Crow, but she was previously known as Rebecca Blue, I believe.
Mhm.
She's a beautiful woman. I love her to death. We sometimes will comment on each other's stuff, you know, mainly me to her. But and she also loves wrestling. But anyway, um and I saw what she was doing, and there was another YouTuber who was talking about like dancing and stuff. I wish I could remember her name, but I really don't. I'm so sorry. Um, but that put clued me into the porn industry, and I started camming, which was good for um like a side gig. I could pay a bill or two, but not full time. And then I went into dancing. So, and then eventually porn. But I'll let you talk away.
First and foremost, I love it. I love everything that you said there. Beautifully and eloquently said. I mean, I look at it to transition. Like we all talk about evolving and revolving in life, right? So cam modeling, there's dancing, there's everything. It's very multifaceted that leads you to where you are now. And I've always put this into perspective. And I can say right now, and I say what I also love about your look. You got the whole hoodie and everything. It reminds me of like that rock chick at Hot Topic, like the bands and everything. It's a great and unique look. Like we have the Barbie dolls and the look and the blonde and what have you, but yours is very aesthetic. It's very unique, and I dig it. And I think that's a great traction for you, as to many great women in this fine industry. And again, love and respect on that front. I dig it. But also at the same time, too, I look at your photography and what you've done, which you've taken pictures of JD and his rock and roll thing, being the musician that he is. You encapture that. So you're encapturing a lot of things, whether it be on and off the camera, but it's you putting your mind, body, and soul into everything that really takes away from the being as itself and takes away a lot of greatness and personality and genuinity. So that is a plus that goes into the adult entertainment industry and life in itself. So that is another layer and another element of the aesthetic, so to speak.
Excuse me. Yeah, I via photography, I was introduced to photography at a very young age. I was 5 years old, literally.
Mhm.
And my dad was doing film photography still during this time. And he couldn't find anybody to watch me, so he brought me along to there was a red room, not the sexual red room, like the developing film room. Get your head out of the gutter. I know it's there. Anyway, um and he's like, "Don't touch anything. I'll show you, but don't touch anything." And this is where I found out that I was asthmatic, because you have to use chemicals in order to develop
Right.
those photos. Excuse me. And he was like, "Oh, okay, you're having an asthma attack. I have my inhaler. I'm just gonna put you on this cart in the hall. Here's the inhaler. Don't move." And then he goes back to develop his stuff. And I'm just sitting there with this inhaler, and I'm like, you know, this is what I want to do for a living. And I've been hooked ever since. So,
No, I respect that. I think if you guys have not checked out her photography page on Instagram, and the link will be in the description, give it a follow. I think you take a lot of great things of what we get to see in life. And of course, like I mentioned, JD, but that also, everything that you take a picture of has a memory to it and has a close personal connection with you, which is how everybody should do it. And you have that connection and foundation that goes along with it. And I think also at the end of the day, too, if you really look at an image, it lasts the test of time, because in anything in life, I think you could also concur with me on this. It's moments and memories created, but moments and memories yet to be created. So you're creating a moment and a memory, no matter how minuscule it may be. It's there in itself.
yes, yes. Thank you for that. Um, and also, I joked about this on Jiggy's podcast. I literally sleep with my camera because I am so in love with it. I don't fuck my camera. I want to be clear. I don't fuck my camera. I just sleep with it. Ignore my son. This is Sylvester. Say hi, people. Hello.
Hello, Sylvester.
And you'll see a few pictures of him too. Um, please stay. Thank you. Um, but with my photography, um, I have a strong connection to music in particular, and I've always wanted to do um like concert photography and things, and I needed to update my portfolio anyways because I made the switch from DSLR to mirrorless. And
Huh?
for those who are nerds out there, you'll know the difference. And I was like, my portfolio's quite old, so I need to update that. And also, I love my husband and I will show him off in any way, shape, or form that I can. So that's where that came from. And then one day I was in Kansas City having breakfast with Jiggy and the crew. And I was like, hey, you want to see a picture of my man's cock that I took? And he's like, what? I'm like, look at my man's dick, please. And he's like, hey, that's actually kind of dope. And I'm like, wait, really? I was just like sexually turned on by him, but like, yeah, if you like my photography, thank you. And he was like, do you want to do it at Exotica? And I'm like, yes. So,
Well, I gotta say, first and foremost, this, well, ladies and gentlemen, when you think of relationship, and again, much love to both you and JD, I look at it like this: that is, you are the type of woman you're the ride or die. Like, look at my man's dick, ain't how hot is that? Is a ride or die. If I've never heard ride or die, I love my man. Look at his dick. I am proud of my man. I love that. That is a ride or die right there. That is kudos to you, my friend. That is absolute kudos on that front.
yes, he's amazing, and I'm not trying to kiss his ass or anything,
Right.
but check out his profile. He does have an OnlyFans. I've been trying to get him to post more on there. And he's like, well, if people actually paid attention to it, then I would post more. So go give him some love too.
I will say this as well. Below this fine interview where you get to see this woman and her links, I will also put JD's links as well so you can check out his music and everything. Much love to you, JD. His links will be in the description as well below this. So
Aw,
I
okay.
got you. All right. So you did mention TikTok, and we'll go to the social media realm before we go back to more of the adult side of things. I have to ask because you did bring it up. Man, let's talk about this with TikTok because there's a lot of things in social media. We always talk about community guidelines, and I've always said this when it comes to photos on like an Instagram or something, man, there's a lot of worse doggone photos out there than people getting their friggin' account shut down, but there's much worse out here on the fine interwebs, so to speak. Let's talk about TikTok because goodness gracious, man.
So, um, TikTok is where it all began.
Mhm.
Like even before it was in Musically turned into TikTok.
Right.
Um I was just doing my cosplay thing, it blew up, and then I went to my adult acting career and that took off like no tomorrow. And then around 2020 to 2021, I slowed down and I have not talked about this. Honey, can you not? Thank you. I talk to Sylvester like he's my son because he is my son. Anyway, um, I I'm sorry, genuinely, because that's where I got discovered, and ever since then, my uploads have been very sporadic and not what I've been wanting to really. Well, I do want to post. Want to make that clear, but with the TikTok shutdown, our political system right now in 2025, and even before with the shutdowns and with COVID, um, that's around when my health declined and I needed, like, I was still doing my adult stuff and I was still posting regularly on Instagram, Twitter, all the adult sites, but I feel absolutely terrible that I haven't kept up with it because that's where I originated. And I have to respect those who watch me on there. And I've reposted a bunch of my old videos and I've been getting comments like, why are you just reposting old videos when you should be making new content? And I haven't answered why. And I will, I promise. There's a few more things I need to figure out with my health. I am STD and STI clean. That's not what's wrong. But when I figure that out and when I'm ready, I will make a video about it. And then I will adjust where I need to adjust. So,
Well, I will say thing is health comes first, and we do wish you nothing but love and happiness and continued health going forward. I hope everything works out for you on that front.
thank
Much love
you.
to you. You're very welcome. Now, I do have to ask this, and if you can't talk about it, it's fine, but I have to ask because we mentioned Jiggy earlier, and if you've not checked out Jiggy's interview with Miss Emambisious over here, great show, very entertaining, and check out Jiggy and all the work that he's done with Mr. Jiggy Jaguar. I got to ask you about the OnlyFans story just because of the fact, like, you guys did mention on the pod, but for those who are not familiar with it, we could put it on this platform as well. Man, what happened with you and OnlyFans? Because my goodness gracious, I heard this story. I'm gonna let you tell it very briefly because what in the world? It didn't make no doggone sense when I heard it. But if you want to go into detail, go ahead. You say as much as you can about it. Go ahead.
So as I said on Jiki's show, there were a lot of NDAs with
Okay.
it. So I'm very limited to what I can say. Um, there was one day somebody, I'm never gonna name names,
Okay.
ever. And I'm not gonna say which show it was on OnlyFans TV, since if you look, there's a bunch of different kinds of shows on there. I'm never gonna say which one it is unless I get permission from them, which I very highly doubt. But basically, I was hired to, at last minute, to be a PA slash camera gal. Like, I was the backup if one of the camera guys couldn't make it for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Or I was just the girl, like, running errands, doing the actress's makeup, things like that. And OnlyFans, the reason why I got hired was because only one person found me, never gonna say which one, and was like, "Hey, you have interest in this? Let's go do it." And I'm like, "Bet." Went to Miami, was fabulous. Um, but also my OnlyFans is the reason I got fired because somebody on set, I was giving them my Instagram. I didn't take my all links bio, like the all links where you
Yeah,
can
all my
find
links.
all of my stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I didn't remove it when I was supposed to, temporarily. And they found out, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want any of our camera crew to take the spotlight at all. Like, you are a PA and you will stay a PA, and that is that." And yeah, I was let go because I was making OnlyFans content, making them money.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. I just, for those who hadn't heard, sir, I wanted to clarify. So thank you for bringing that to fruition as well. I appreciate you answering the question. The only thing that really got me listening to that is just like you're on OnlyFans and you're making business and you have an OnlyFans account, but then you get fired. That's all I'm just going to say. It's very mind boggling, mind
Yeah,
boggling to me.
it is.
Yeah.
I was like, when they told me this, I'm like, huh? I couldn't even speak. I was
Right.
just like, all right, cool, bye.
Like I understood it with, okay, and I'm going to say this. So, Mandy, are you familiar with Mandy Rose from WWE or no?
Sounds familiar. I'd have to see her.
Okay, so blonde, talent. She was from she actually was in Tough Enough years ago. She used to team with Sonya Deville. She was with Paige the whole nine. So Mandy Rose, who was a talent, she was NXT Women's Champ at the time. So one of the reasons why she got fired, and because WWE has a policy about this, she was promoting there was some explicit stuff on her like OnlyFans page and stuff, and they found out about it
Yeah,
because
I heard about that.
yep,
Yeah.
somebody leaked it, and that got her to get fired because it's like, hey man, we can't have this being out. So she got fired from the WWE for that. Yep.
Wow.
That yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I get it from their standpoint, but it's just like I know some people are like, oh, but what's the big deal? I always look at it like this. I don't judge. Personally, I love having women like yourself on this show, and I love everybody I work with from all facets of life. I look at it like this. It's the human body. You know what I'm saying? We get to
Yeah.
flaunt it. It is what it is. But I understood it from their standpoint. And I also look at it like this. With OnlyFans, your standpoint is ridiculous just because it's so mind-boggling. That standpoint I understood. But I look at it in today's day and age, and this is where I'll go with it. And you can agree with me on this because we were very much like-minded with our crafts. OnlyFans, like any other sites, and we mentioned the art form thing, it's a way for people to express themselves, and it's a way for people to have platforms, and it's normalization. Because in today's day and age, what once was taboo is now more normalized to what we get to see now in the adult entertainment industry and content creation. We're normalizing a lot of things, which it should be, just because sex and sex appeal goes hand in hand, and it's something that's very natural with each and every one of us as human beings.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have anything to comment on that, except I agree with that. And with I'm sorry, what was her name again?
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose. I think she should have been kept. Unless there was something wrong with the storyline or something. I understand the wanting to keep adult stuff out of WWE,
Mhm.
but at the same time, just let them be. Let them make their money and have fun.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
she's even said because she has a podcast now with her husband, who was actually a former football player, and he wrestled for WWE as well. His name is Tino Sabatelli. She was saying like, I've made more money doing OnlyFans and all this stuff than I did working with WWE, and I'm like, go get that bag, go get that
Yeah.
bag, dude. Absolutely, but yeah, that's the world that we live in. Yeet. That's the world that we live in. Yeet.
Yes.
That's exactly, but that's the world that we live in, and it's a crazy world. But there's a lot of great people in it, like yourself, Miss Goddess Emambisious. And I will say this: I'd love to have you back for round two to talk some more wrestling, just to talk and shoot the breeze like we did today. You were an absolute blast. I love this conversation.
I love this conversation too. It was amazing, and I'm happy to come back whenever you want.
A couple final things before we close that. You mentioned earlier the puss, as you so eloquently put it. Besides the fact that we get to see you work with your husband, and we get to see a lot of great films of yours from Solo and everything, such a variety, you also work with Britannica. Let's give a shout out to Britannica because you did a lot of great work with her. Great chemistry. Can we talk about those scenes? Because you did your thing with Britannica.
Yeah. Wonderful gal. She is actually one of my favorite people to work with. When we went back to, or when I was doing my tour in Kansas City, um, I did two videos. One was more of a meme, I'll admit, because it was like how to eat the puss or something like that. And I was on one that day. I didn't even do my hair. I was in a car for 15 hours with
Oh, my
JD.
goodness.
We didn't fly, we drove it in a
Oh,
car that was like partially like on its last leg, pretty much. Um, it finally broke down when we were in Ohio a few weeks ago. But anyway, I just remember we were on the porch and we were talking about anime and smoking and having a good time, all good vibes. It was also a swingers party, and me and JD we're not swingers really. Like I'll have fun with some gals, like I said, but um we we just had a blast. We were playing Cards Against Humanity while everybody else was fucking. Like like straight up in the middle. And also, there was this sex doll that was in that video called Potato. And potato, potato, potato. We didn't do anything but like pass her around like hot potato, and I just had a good time spanking it. So yeah, it was a blast. I love working with her. I'm going to work with her again at Exotica, and along with a bunch of other lovely gals and fellows alike. So
I will say this as well. The other thing I did want to mention, besides the great scenes, and we mentioned the cosplay, the Freddy Kruegers, the Spider-Mans. You've done a lot of great ones. One I think that popped me huge. Man, you dressed like Shigo on one of them. I felt like old Kim Possible references going there. Can we put that to the forefront, man? Because my goodness, call me, beat me if you want to reach me some old school Kim Possible style on the Disney Channel. You rock the Shigo attire. Let's put that to the forefront, man. Shigo. All we needed was Dr. Draken. Come on now.
somebody sent that one to me, and I was like, well, I now have two versions of her. I have the shiny version and I have the regular version.
Okay.
And the
All right.
shiny version you can see on my OF, but I've been wanting to do more shoots with Shigo. It's just not a lot of the other creators have been down for it. So I just assumed that nobody liked it.
I'm right there as a Disney Channel kid and as someone who watched Kim Possible, Christy Carlson, Romano, Will Friedle, Ron Stoppable, and Rufus the Naked Mole Rat will be here all day. It's a great show. It was a great cartoon, and to bring that cartoon to life and show that sex appeal, which is was if you look at the cartoon, Shigo was a very pretty lady. Like it works.
Oh yeah. She was gorgeous in that animation, and I'm pretty sure she is one of a million reasons why I am bi. Just saying. She's hot, hot as fuck. And I am very happy that you associated me with her because I really didn't think anybody was really into her. So, hey,
I got you, but no, that stuff pops me just because again, as a kid watching that, and a lot of people don't realize like how historic like that show was. Like Christy Carlson Romano coming off of Even Stevens at the time with Shia LaBeouf on the Disney, and then she gets this cartoon, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what is this? And then you go more and dive into the Kim Possible, where I'm like, this is a really doggone good show.
oh yeah, Kim Possible is an amazing show. I love that. I would stay up to watch that as well as The Last Airbender. I would
Yes,
stay up and watch that. I've been wanting to do a Korra cosplay. Um, I just don't have the supplies for it yet. But she is also coming, no pun intended.
well, I cannot wait to see it. And I mean, you mentioned The Last Airbender. I mean, if you're Kim Possible, don't go to Camp Wannaweep and then meet Gil with his friggin' gills and just, oh my goodness, that episode where they go back to Camp Wannaweep. Hello. But no, stuff like that is really, really cool. And it adds a great element to it. And I'm going to tell you straight up and down like 6 o'clock from the cat lady vibes, from everything that you do with your husband, from the photography, very multifaceted, the modeling attire with the lingerie and everybody you've worked with. Shout out to them, but also shout out to you, man. I cannot wait to see where your journey continues to take you.
Thank you so much. I have a ton more surprises in store, and I can't wait to show everybody it.
And before we close this out, probably one of my favorite names of a content creator, Goddess Emambisious. Let's put that into the forefront as well. I have to say that. I do love the name, besides the goddess and the empowerment side of things, which is what all women are. But Emambitious is actually very, very cool. It's very unique.
My thank you. I had a dream about it the night before I auditioned at my first club. It was the dream was basically me like I had my own clothing line,
Right.
and the words ambitious and weirdo just popped up like no tomorrow. And when the house mom, also like side manager, person we bitch to, things like that, um she was like, what do you want your name to be? And it was either going to be ambitious or weirdo. And she's like, honey, I am so sorry, we're not going to do weirdo, that is terrible. And I'm like, okay, ambitious it is. And it just stuck. And the spelling of it is because I used to have my own website, but for some reason the website, like how I was building it, it would not let me use the regular spelling, so I had to get creative with it. and it's just stuff like that. So, hey.
First and foremost, again, I love the name, but I'm also thinking to myself, could you imagine if they actually would have said yes to Weirdo? Like, can you imagine the trajectory if they actually would have said yes to Weirdo? Like, where that would go? Like, that would have been insane. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like in professional wrestling, obviously with gimmicks, like there's been so many like weird names. Like there was a wrestler, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, God rest his soul. He's the father of Natalia, who's in WWE, right? And Bret the Hitman Hart, they were the Hart Foundation. He actually wrestled under a mask during one of his later WWE tenures, and his wrestling name was Who, like WHO with an apostrophe. He was like a luchador, and his name was Who. Like there was a lot of like weird names back in like the mid '90s during that era. His name was Who. So I mean, imagine he was Who for a short time. Weirdo. Like, come on now, man. You could have many unique names with it.
M the Weirdo.
The Weirdo.
That's what it would have been.
And Weirdo.
Also, before we go,
Yeah.
I wanted to point something out about my bio on most of my social medias. It
Okay.
says not your average weirdo. Um, and that's because that is a reference to Not the Average American by Asking Alexandria. I just remembered it like a week ago when I was working out and the song popped up, and I was like, I have not listened to this song since I was 18 years old. And I could not remember why I picked that other than me being a weirdo naturally. And I was just like, that's right. That's why I picked it. It was supposed to be a reference that the fans were supposed to figure out, and nobody ever figured it out. So, like, 8 years later, there's your answer.
I like that. And first of all, you have good taste with your rock stylings and your rock bands. I like that. And I mean, I think what's great about it too that I could also appreciate, and a lot of us can, if you can relate to it, if something that sticks, whether in pop culture or your influences around your surroundings, it works. And it certainly has given you a lot of great things, not your average weirdo, Miss Ambitious. So before we close this thing out, where can we follow you on these social media fronts? The floor is yours. Please go right ahead.
You can find me on Instagram at Emambisious. I also have a backup account that just has an O1 at the end of it. I couldn't get creative with it, sorry. Um, x/twitter.com/Emambitious. OnlyFans, Real Me, Fansly. My TikTok is still M Black Rose, which there is some lore to that. But we are running out of time, so that'll be for next time.
Okay.
And I do have a YouTube. I do have some plans with it. I am sorting some things out, so please subscribe to that one. Not to the Adventures of Black Rose one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one yet, and that is also for another episode. So and I am working on a Twitch, so like Twitch streaming.
Mhm.
So because I love video games. So yeah.
I like your style. So I will say this now. So this one just gave a little appetizer sample. So when we do our round two, which we will, and I look forward to it, we'll open
Yay!
up. We'll open up with some lore and we'll talk about some gaming. So if you guys are looking forward to that, we will definitely do that in our next edition of On the Mic, a little part two. So there's a little sample for everybody. So I will say this: you have an amazing story and you're just an amazing spirit, and I cannot wait to see you just continue to shine and thrive and stay on your grind with what you do. And folks, as I always say at each and every one of these episodes, life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. Subscribe to Mike Larkin 92 for all these amazing shows and interviews, including this amazing human being right here. And as always, folks, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss M. Ambitious, I include you in those sentence, my goddess. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I love you all. Stay naughty.